General Ali spoke exclusively to NTV in his first ever media interview. NTV senior reporter Duncan Khaemba.
NTV was able to convince him.
The approved short interview of strictly 5 questions that lasted
5 questions that lasted
about 10 minutes.
Okay. I give you 5 questions and should be 10 minutes. Let's go.
How are you?
Hi. Oh my God. The first question is, how are you? And he even struggles to say, I am fine. Look, I feel sorry for this man. I don't even want to mock. I've never mocked him and I will never. But this should embarrass us. Why?
Very happy after the election, right?
See, they have to really use subtitles on what he says. I'm fine. Look, I couldn't even hear what he was saying. But he said, I'm fine. Very happy after the election. I'm feeling better. Let's go back here.
Hi. I just I do. Put a breathe.
Oh, he's got somebody. Now, did you hear that one say? That is why.
There are those who say that it is time he called it a day in politics.
Literally, the vast majority of Ugandans are saying he should be calling it a day in elective politics.
You're watching Mordecai Marissa Live Political Commentary. Please consider subscribing to help grow Uganda's Voices of Struggle ecosystem. Thank you.
I cannot appreciate you enough for using your valuable time to always go on social media, break down things for people.
Moses Ali is Uganda's oldest candidate in the next year's general elections. And a few months ago, we were campaigning for his resignation, asking him to quit. Moses Ali refused, and he never said a word, apart from talking heads like Barambar Gahara, who is an opportunistic charlatan, came out to give defense for why he shouldn't quit. He didn't say a word. Now, a few days ago, NTV Kenya conducted an interview with Moses Ali. And while we've seen him, struggling to talk, not able to sit still in a chair, they were able to convince him to sit for an interview. And I want us to listen to what he says, why he's not quitting. And I'll give my commentary. Unbelievable. Let's watch this. Okay, here we go.
Now, Uganda's oldest candidate in next year's January general election, retired General Moses Ali, has dismissed those calling for his retirement in politics, saying he still has unfinished business for his Adjumani West
86-year-old and still got unfinished business.
Constituents. The 86-year-old, who is seeking a 5th term in parliament, says his main agenda upon re-election will be infrastructure and ensuring Adjumani West County is conferred municipality status.
Like nobody can help Adjumani West to be conferred municipality status or to push infrastructure plans.
General Ali spoke exclusively to NTV in his first ever media interview. NTV senior reporter Duncan Khaemba.
Did you hear that?
Municipality status. General Ali spoke exclusively to NTV in his first ever media interview. NTV senior reporter Duncan Khaemba.
NTV was able to convince him.
Had a sit down with him in Kampala, Uganda.
Come on, guys. Wow. This is not laughable, but why would you start with this clip? Come on. What are you trying to do?
NTV senior reporter Duncan Khaemba had a sit down with him in Kampala, Uganda.
You see what you're doing, NTV.
This is General Moses Ali, Uganda's 2nd Deputy Prime Minister and Deputy Leader of Government Business in Parliament. His move to seek a 5th parliamentary term in January 2026 has elicited mixed reactions, in and outside Uganda.
I'm going to do the signing, then I come and nominate General Ali from here.
Videos of General Ali's clearance to defend his Adjumani West parliamentary seat while seated in his vehicle went viral on social media. There are those who say that it is time he called it a day in politics.
Literally, the vast majority of Ugandans are saying he should be calling it a day in elective politics. I mean, even in serving in government.
But his pursuit for another term says otherwise, and so do some of his supporters.
If His Excellency can listen to my father, why not West Nile?
If Museveni can listen to my father, why not West Nile? So Museveni is used as a yardstick for what? If he can listen. And you all know, I mean, I will explain why Museveni can listen to Moses Ali at the end of this video. But what do you mean if Museveni can listen to? Moses Ali is not elected to represent Museveni, but to represent constituents within Adjumani West County.
Adjumani, why can't you give a chance to my father?
Dokas Nzukuru.
He's the only one. He's the only one.
Are you kidding me? I don't know. Is it money that you can't say he's the only one and then you have even young people clapping? He can't be the only one. What does this say? And God forbid, what if something bad happened to him? Then would you live without a leader? If it happened right today, you've just said he's the only one. He can't be the only one.
The general was a well-spoken man and one loyal to the NRM administration, and spoke highly of what he termed as the gains Museveni administration brought with it.
But there is a peace now, and that's why we are very happy here.
You know, when he says there's peace now, it is because he brokered a deal with Museveni. Had he not decided to broker a deal, probably there wouldn't be peace. So you can't say there's peace now because I'm not fighting you. No. You know, peace is not the absence of war, like we've heard. It is the presence of justice. There was no peace at that time, especially in the 1990s and late 1980s. It is because you were a rebel fighting against the Museveni regime. So when you say there's peace now, it is because you were an element that made sure there was no peace in those days.
All gathered, I'm very happy.
When you stopped fighting and a semblance of peace.
But very important also, this peace is extended because we are peaceful and our neighbors.
It's so funny. Very hostile people usually want to talk about values they don't have. Oh, peace, because peace. Now, peace, peace, peace. No.
Sudan, South Sudan is peaceful, and Congo may also be peaceful one day.
But nearly 4 decades after his NRM Liberation Day celebrations, General Ali's age and health has taken toll on him. But he remains unrelenting in his quest and is unperturbed by his critics as he now focuses on his campaigns, holding a series of rallies over the weekends. Being a candidate of the ruling National Resistance Movement NRM party, whose leader is President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, his campaign meetings paint the picture of a well-mobilized engagement.
Well-mobilized engagement. And then you have Baram Bargahara. You can see him, Museveni's lapdog, you know, making sure that these people were kept in ignorance, threatened that they cannot stand against him.
Retired general whose public career began when he joined the army at a young age, rising to the rank of a general in 2012, is the longest-serving minister in the history of Uganda. In 1973, Uganda's then president Idi Amin Dada appointed him provincial administration minister, marking the start of a lengthy period in government.
1973. From 1973, it is 2025. They say power corrupts, but absolute power corrupts absolutely. Does this really personify Moses Ali or not? Oh my God.
In 1974, Amin promoted Ali to the rank of brigadier, then appointed him finance minister in 1975. After the toppling of the Amin regime, Ali went into exile and founded Uganda National Rescue Front, UNRF, which had its own fighters, and later integrated his rebel fighters with Museveni's NRM after the latter seized power in January 1986. The two have remained close comrades ever since. On 8th floor of the Prime Minister's office block, his office sits behind the door, labeled number 7. Among the items well placed in there is the retired general's military fatigue. As they say, once a soldier, always a soldier. And also sitting on the wall is a map of his political territory, Adjumani. It's shortly after 1:30 p.m. in Kampala. The approved short interview of strictly 5 questions that lasted
5 questions that lasted
about 10 minutes.
Okay. I give you 5 questions and should be 10 minutes. Let's go.
Begins with our question about the claim that the 86-year-old candidate's inability to walk unsupported and talk audibly serve as a sign that he should hang his political and public service boots.
How are you? Fine.
Oh my God. The first question is, how are you? And he even struggles to say, I am fine. Look, I feel sorry for this man. I don't even want to mock. I've never mocked him, and I'll never. But this should embarrass us. Why? Like there's nobody in his constituency that can represent him. A man is struggling.
I think General Briefai, very happy after the election, right?
See, they have to really use subtitles on what he says. I'm fine. Look, I couldn't even hear what he was saying. But he said, I'm fine. Very happy after the election. I'm feeling better. Let's go back here.
Fine. I think General Briefai, very happy.
This is sad. Come on. This is sad. Museveni, come on. Why embarrass this gentleman?
After the election, right? I'm feeling better. That's why I win.
That's why I won on the ground. I started talking. I said,
On the ground, I started talking. I felt after people.
When asked why at 86 he's still seeking to continue serving, the general says he still has unfinished business for his constituency, going on to list some top priorities. Still,
what did he say? Now, oh gosh. Is he going to have translators when he's talking to people, especially his constituents? And then he's a deputy prime minister. How is he going to do national business when he's supposed to be talking to people, either foreign officials or, everything doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't make any sense because Museveni is hell-bent on building some sort of a gerontocracy kind of a society. Now, if Moses Ali is 86 and Museveni claims to be 80, is it 82 or whatever? Museveni wants you to look at Moses Ali and be like, oh, this is an extremely old man. And once you take your eyes off Moses Ali, you look at Museveni, and Museveni looks much more better. That's why a few days ago, I think you saw him, jogging or running around, and you're like, what are you even doing? It is sad.
Has unfinished business for his constituency, going on to list some top priorities.
That's why I just I do the time put a breathe.
Oh, he's got somebody. Now, did you hear that one say? That is why. Oh, my God.
I just I do come on, sit down, put a breathe.
That is why.
Replace the ferry.
To replace the ferry, yeah, that is the
You
plan.
put a breathe, free.
To put a bridge.
Meaning we are connected. We are not West Africa.
This is wrong.
However, to West Africa, we have to make sure we get public administration. I was there. I said there.
I can guarantee I didn't understand nothing. I have to read those subtitles down. What?
I said that to give us a municipality.
I had that one, municipality.
The octogenarian is clear in his response to those calling for his retirement, both from public service and politics.
My retirement, did it by law.
Oh my God. Read what he's saying. My retirement is by law. I'm already a retired general. What again do they want me to retire from? Oh, had it not been the law forcing him to retire, then probably oh my God. He could have stayed in the military. Come on. Are you kidding me? My retirement is by law and I'm already a retired general. What again do they want me to retire from? From public service and that constituency.
I'm already retired in Berlin. General. I retired general. This is my title now. Now, what do they want me to retire again for? For where I'm all retired. I've been tempted to retire.
Both General Ali and President Museveni, with whom he fought to overthrow General Tito Okello in 1986, remain in active leadership and politics. Could there be or have been a secret pact for the two to remain in power together?
Of course, the secret is in the open. If you're looking for that secret, it is hiding in the open. The secret is one, gerontocracy. Museveni wants you to look at first Moses Ali. And when you get your eyes off Moses Ali, you look at him. And he looks much better. You would rather have Museveni instead of Moses Ali. And two, the point you mentioned earlier in your story about the deal they made, and I'll explain to that just a moment here.
Is there an agreement?
I don't think there's an agreement. That's why he's even laughing, because he knows there is one.
I don't think they have such a
They don't think they have such an agreement.
I don't think we have.
General Ali has authored a book, The Odyssey of the Nubi.
Are you kidding me? I need to read that book because, hey, the title of my book is The Odyssey of the Optimist. So Moses Ali and I, watch here. The Odyssey of the Optimist by Mordecai Murisa. You want to grab yourself a copy on the Amazon, please make sure that you do order yourself a copy on Amazon. Just put in Mordecai Murisa, or if you may, The Odyssey of the Optimist, Moses Ali. I think I need to report him for copyright infringement. The Odyssey of the Nubi. You're copying my word. I'm kidding.
From soldiers of the British Empire to full citizen in Uganda, a book he personally autographs and presents to his visitors. One of his sons, Bashir Musa, is his aide alongside a military officer.
Wow.
His family is said to be divided regarding the debate over his retirement.
Of course, the one that wants him to continue to keep going is the one that benefits from all this money that is being given from the Museveni regime.
The retired general was first elected as Member of Parliament of Adjumani in 2001 and is now seeking a fifth term.
Aside.
Uganda will hold its general election on 12th January 2026. To retire or not to retire, to serve or not to serve, that is the question on many people's mind here in Uganda. But to the man himself, retired General Moses Ali, he says there is still more work that needs to be done. Duncan Haemba, NTV in Kampala, Uganda.
Awesome, awesome report. I mean, kudos to NTV for finding ways of convincing this man. I'm quite certain many Ugandan media houses have tried, but all in vain, to interview him. And what an opportunity to watch him, talking. It is very sad, extremely sad. But this is Museveni regime. That's why we have to really get rid of the regime. I mean, I don't know how many ways the Museveni regime has really corrupted our country in all departments. Now here, it is gerontocracy at play. It is very sad. Now, many of you would like to know what I mentioned earlier. Well, in the late 1980s and 1990s, Uganda was still recovering from a series of conflicts, including civil wars that led to Museveni's rise to power. And I should say this, one of these, the civil wars we mentioned, many of them were started by Museveni himself. So Moses Ali, as a former military or army officer, was part of that group that was mentioned earlier, the National Rescue Front, or Uganda National Rescue Front, UNRF. It had been involved in a rebellion against the Museveni government, especially what were the reasons as why they were saying we are against the Museveni regime. They were extremely opposed to the transition and how Museveni was consolidating power shortly after his victory in 1986. Now, you should remember, I should tell you this, you know this, but it bears a repetition. Museveni wasn't the one that lost the election in 1980. It was actually Kawanga Posemogere, but Museveni was the first one to raise a complaint. The election wasn't free and fair. Now, let me go launch a war against the government of Milton Obote. And there were so many other, groups that, were fighting Obote, having seen what he was in his first term before he was hosted by Idi Amin in 1971. You had the likes of Lutankome Kayira, you had these Moses Ali, you had the Museveni, and many others. So shortly after Museveni's victory, there were so many other groups that were like, hey, we had some deals. We had some goals that we wanted. There's a specific image we had for Uganda. And they looked at him, and I don't know how I should say this. I think the Moses Alis were sort of very able to see what Museveni was going to become. That's why they were extremely opposed to his consolidation of power. They read all the signs, the warning signs that, this guy is going to be a dictator and is not going to leave. So that's why they were fighting him. Now, what does Museveni does? So what Museveni does, having had, he called these folks, and the leader was Moses Ali, this rebel group. So they sat down in 1997. Moses Ali and the Uganda National Rescue Front sat down. They signed a peace agreement with Museveni's government, and they immediately ended their insurgency. But this deal they signed had a few conditions, terms, if you may, and one of them was the amnesty. The Ugandan government, led by Museveni, had to grant amnesty to Moses Ali and his fighters. And why? Because this was part of the broader government policy at the time. It was aimed at bringing these rebels into a political fold rather than continuing armed conflict. They said, hey, if we are going to cease fire, you've got to forgive us. And what they demanded was complete and full amnesty, immunity from persecution and prosecution for crimes committed during the insurgency. And these folks were able to surrender their arms. That was condition number one. And condition number two was the integration into the government. Now this is where Moses Ali comes in, the integration of these folks into the Museveni government and the military. Part of the deal or part of the agreement was these rebels had to be incorporated into the Ugandan People's Defense Force or Uganda People's Defense Force, UPDF. Not only that, they even had to find other state structures where these folks would be incorporated. And they had to ensure that these rebels became part of the post-political war, post-war political system. You know, I mean, if you put them in the structure, different structures, including the military, then they have to be part of the political system. Like I mentioned, full amnesty. They were not going to be persecuted, prosecuted, or even marginalized. And that's how you bring them into the fold. Number three is a political role. Now, this was specific for Moses Ali as a leader of the rebel group. You know, Moses Ali had to be rehabilitated. Then later on, he was appointed deputy speaker of the Ugandan parliament. Then in 2000, he ran for the member of parliament for that, for Adjumani West. And once he ran for member of parliament and became member of parliament, it marked the transition from a rebel or a fighter to a key government figure of the now current Museveni establishment. And up to now, they even went to the constitution. They had to be recognized. You know, the government of Uganda was willing to include different political factions, including former rebels and rebel groups in the broader political landscape. Why? You have to go back and read the constitution. And actually, the preamble talks about our past that was highlighted by bloodshed and stuff like that. So in order to look at what would define as broader reconciliation efforts, Museveni had to bring all these folks as a strategy, one, to neutralize the opposition, and two, to consolidate power. That's how he's been able to do that. And again, security guarantees, rehabilitation, and reintegration programs, to mention but a few he did. And there are so many people that were integrated or incorporated in the Museveni regime as we speak now. I think there's that guy, I think he's Uganda's ambassador to, is it Russia? Moses Chizige. No, it's not Moses Chizige. What's his name? Forgetting the name, but I think the last name is Chizige. Then you have Moses Ali, there was Binai Issa, all of these folks. So that's why you see this person. He's a representative of so many others, actually families, of rebels of that group who think that probably if Moses Ali quits, we might not get this money anymore. So it's a broader group that is wanting Moses Ali to stay. But number one is Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, because, you know, if Museveni didn't want Moses Ali, all this wouldn't even matter. He doesn't really respect nothing, zero. Has no respect for anything. I mean, I'm talking about a man who betrayed his personal doctor during his guerrilla days. So you think Museveni cares about you? There are so many examples of people Museveni has betrayed. He doesn't really care. He's a self-serving, narcissistic, sociopathic charlatan. Now, that's me diagnosing him with my pedestrian mind about psychology and human behavior. It is very sad. That's a story from NTV Kenya. It's very sad. But what does this say actually? It says we have to rise up and offer ourselves for leadership. And when I say rising up has some sort of conflict or violence connotation, I'm not a violent guy. I don't believe in violence. I mean, if there's a way you can rise up and offer yourself for leadership, please do. Because Museveni disappointed us, betrayed our parents, and his loyalists and all henchmen continue to do the same. What do you expect? The Baganda say, "Bulira goita naye, kubulira empisa zo." Let me know what you think down in the comment section. But hey, thank you so much, NTV Uganda, for that amazing story. See ya.
Did you enjoy what you just watched?
I'm sure they did.
I'm going to guess that you did. How about you consider subscribing to Mordecai Marissa Live YouTube channel? Thank you.